This is Algebra 1, Lesson 69, and this lesson covers factoring trinomials. Alright, so first we're going to do some review. We've got these where we have two rainbow. So x times x would be x squared. X times 3 would be 3x. Remember, then we do negative 6x. And then we do 6 times 3 is 18. We get x squared minus 3x minus 18. So we end up with 3. We start out with 4 terms and we end up with 3 terms. With 3 terms, this is called a trinomial. And trinomials that are in this form with the x squared and then x to 0, those are called quadratic trinomials. Okay, if we do the same thing here, we're going to get x squared and plus 3x, and then we're going to get, no, that's the exact same equation. Well then, let's skip over to here. We're going to get x squared, then we're going to get x times 3 would be plus 3x, and then plus 6x, and then plus 18, x squared plus 9x plus 18. See how those came out different? Just that plus and minus in there can make a difference. Alright, so we can see a pattern starting to emerge. So let's look at the relationship between these numbers, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be given this, and we're going to have to try to figure out that. Okay, so let's look for the pattern. Here we have this middle term. If you add those two together, you get the middle term. So that's going to be your numbers added. And for this last term, 6 times 3 is 18. So this is going to be your numbers multiplied. Right here, this negative 3, if we added negative 6 and positive 3, we get negative 3. So that one we add to get that. And then your last term is 6 times 3 is 18. We multiplied. So you can see the pattern that it makes when you multiply those two together and you get a trinomial. Alright, so on this one, I'm going to try that out. So the first thing you do is you're going to write parentheses. You solve these. And I've got an x at the beginning because I know that x times x is x squared. Okay, now I have to figure out a number that when I multiply, I get 18. So the factors of 18 would be 18 and 1. And then you'd have 9 times 2. And then 6 times 3. Okay, those are my factors. When we add those two factors together, we got to get negative 3. So if we add or subtract those factors, we got to get negative 3. 18 and 1 could not make negative 3. 9 and 2 couldn't make negative 3. It's only these two that could make negative 3. So you know these have to be 6 and 3. And for it to be negative 3, the 6 has to be negative and the 3 has to be positive. So there's the answer to that one. It's x minus 6, x plus 3. Let's try another one. Okay, so for this one, we've got x squared minus 14x minus 15. So first thing we're going to do is write our parentheses, and we're going to put our x at the beginning. Now I need two numbers that when we multiply, we get 15. So the factors of 15 are 1 and 15, and 3 and 5, and that's it. Okay, so it's got to be one of these pairs of numbers. It's got to be either 1 and 15 or 3 and 5. When we add them or subtract them, we get a negative 14. And this minus right here tells me that one of my numbers is negative. To get negative 14, I would have to use 1 and 5. So I'm going to put a 1 and a 5. 1 and a 15. And for it to be negative 14, I need my negative on my big number and my positive on my 1. So negative 15 and positive 1 is going to make negative 14. So that's the answer to that one. Okay, this one, same thing. All right, so we're going to draw our parentheses, and we're going to put an x at the beginning of each, and we have to multiply to get this number, and we had to add to get this middle number. So we have to multiply two numbers together to get negative 10. That could be 1 and 10, 5 and 2, and that's it. So it's either 5 and 2, 1 and 10. One of them is going to be negative because I have a negative sign right there. All right, and we have to add them to get 3. So 1 and 10, there's no way we could add those and get 3, or subtract those and get 3. But 2 and 5, if we said 5 minus 2, we're going to get 3. So we've got a 5 and a 2. The 5 needs to be positive, and the 2 needs to be negative. 5 minus 2 equals 3. There's the answer to that one. Okay, this one looks different, but it's just not in the right order. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the correct order first. So I need my squared term first. So x squared plus, no, not plus. Then I need my x term. So minus 5x plus 6. So you always want your squared term, then your x in the middle, and then no variable at the end. All right, so I'm going to draw my parentheses, and I'm going to put my x. Okay, so when I multiply, I need to get 6, and when I add, I need to get negative 5. So the factors of 6 would be 1 and 6, and 2 and 3. 2 and 3, I could get negative 5 if they were both negative. 1 and 6, I could get negative 5 if I did positive 1 and negative 6. Right, positive 1 and negative 6 would be negative 5. Negative 2 and negative 3 would be negative 5. So how do I know which ones to use? Well, this positive sign right here tells me that both of these signs have to be either plus or minus. The only way to do that would be this one. So negative 1, negative 2. Now if I multiplied this out, I could make sure. So if I said x minus 1 times x minus 2, I'm going to get x squared, and then I'm going to get minus 2x, and then I'm going to get minus 1x, and then I'm going to get 2 times 1 would be, oh, whoops, that was supposed to be 2 and a 3. Let me fix that real quick. There we go. X minus 3 times x minus 2. Haha, there we go. So x squared, negative 2x, negative 3x, positive 6. X squared minus 5x plus 6. So it came out the way it was supposed to. Now, if I'd use these, if I said x plus 1 times x minus 6, I'm going to get x squared minus 6x plus, oops, put it in the right spot, plus 1x. 1 times 6 will be negative 6. All right, so now when I put these together, I'm going to get x squared minus 5x, so that part's right, but I'm going to have a negative 6 at the end, and that's not right because this has a positive 6 at the end. All right, so just be careful for ones like that. Okay, here's another one. It's also kind of mixed up here, so I need my x squared term first, then my 6x, then my plus 5, okay? And I'm going to draw my parentheses. I'm going to put my x in here and here. And my factors of 5 are only 1 and 5. And everything's positive, so these are both positive. That was easy. So x times x will be x squared 1 plus 5 would be 6x, and then 1 times 5 would be 5. That was an easy one. We didn't even have to do any kind of writing or figuring or anything. All right, go ahead and pause the video and try those practice problems. Okay, hopefully you paused it to work the practice problems. Now I'm going to work them for you. Let's go with a nice bright pink. All right, so this one is x squared minus x minus 42. All right, so first I'm going to do my parentheses. Okay, and this one, minus x, that means negative 1. So when we multiply, we're going to get negative 42. When we add, we're going to get negative 1. So factors of 42 would be 42 and 1, 21 and 2. 3 would probably go into that. 14 times 3. 6 times 7. Okay. So we need something that when we add them together, we're going to get negative 1, and that's going to be 6 and 7. And for it to be negative 1, we need a negative 7. So 6 minus 7 equals negative 1. All right, so it'll be plus 6 minus 7. X plus 6 times x minus 7. Or the other way around, you could say x minus 7 times x plus 6. As long as your negative's on your 7 and your positive's on your 6, then it's right. Okay, this one. All right, so that is in the right order. It's the exact same problem, but our middle term is positive, so we need a positive one. So we could just draw our parentheses. And our first one is x in both of these. And we know 6 times 7 makes 42. And we need it to be a negative 42, so one of these needs to be negative. And we add them together. We need to get positive 1, because this really means positive 1. So if our 7 is positive and our 6 is negative, that would be 7 minus 6 equals 1. So that would be negative 6, positive 7. So that is the answer to that one. X minus 6, x plus 7. Okay, and then this is the last one. Okay, so we've got our parentheses, x at the beginning of both of those. Now we need numbers that when we multiply, we're going to get 16. And when we add, we get negative 6. All right, so 16, we could say 16 and 1. That's not going to get us negative 6. We could say 8 and 2. Now if we did 8 minus 2, we get 6. If we did negative 8 and positive 2, we'd get negative 6. So it's going to be negative 8, positive 2. And that's the answer to that one. All right, that is it for lesson 69, factoring trinomials.